Hey there, I'm Dan McFadden, and the man of the hour is the Melon Man. Ross Chastain. You probably remember him, but you'd be forgiven for maybe forgetting where he's racing this season. Ross Chastain. Probably remember him, but you probably forgot where he's racing in 2021. After roughly 10 years of competing at a national level in NASCAR and roughly 360 National Series starts, Ross Chastain, 28 years old, is getting his shot with Chip Ganassi Racing in the number 42 Chevrolet. That's the car that last year was driven by Kyle Larson and then Matt Kenseth. There's a lot going on in NASCAR in 2021. Kyle Larson's back. Christopher Bell's finally with Joe Gibbs Racing. Chase Briscoe's got his promotion at Stewart-Haas Racing. But what about Ross Chastain? It's kind of obvious that Ross Chastain's arrival at the number 42 car is flying under the radar, and he's okay with that. I talked with Ross last week about his arrival at his best opportunity in the Cup Series so far. I wanted to remind people about Ross and his story before the season began, so I talked to him as part of my first official duties as a senior editor and reporter for FrontStretch.com. That's right. This year, I'll be a contributor to FrontStretch.com, where I will provide weekly columns on NASCAR, and that endeavor will help fuel this endeavor. Without further ado, let's get on with the interview. Among the things I talked with Ross about, why he loves flying under the radar going into this season, how he really wants to end McDonald's NASCAR curse, which is now 26 years old and counting. We also talk about what it means for him to have his opportunity at Chip Ganassi Racing, which came in 2018, being tied to DC Solar, the former team sponsor who wound up being revealed as a $1 billion Ponzi scheme. This is one of my favorite interviews I've done so far. It's a lot of fun, and I think you'll enjoy it. So here it is, my interview with Ross Chastain. All right, man. It's good to see you again. So,
Yeah,
what's up with you on a Wednesday right now? With what 2 weeks to the
2 weeks.
500?
Yeah, crazy.
What's
Um, just was in a Hendrick engine meeting this morning. Just basically them telling me what's normal, what's not normal, what to do when everything is normal, what to do when something's not normal. Everything is digital now, so you're flipping through pages and there's diagnostic codes and all that, just stuff I'm not
Sounds like
used.
you're getting ready for a rocket launch instead of getting into a stock car.
That's what these things are now, man. They're rocket ships. Just they don't go as fast as maybe they used to, but the technology in them is just digital, electronic. So it's not just a carburetor anymore.
Is this kind of meeting? Is this something new for you? Is this something you went through at colleague last year or anything like that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I would say through my progression of race teams, it's evolved from before it's standing and looking at the car and in Xfinity, the gauges pretty much, well, my whole career in NASCAR has been electronic gauges, so it's the pressure or the temperature sensor is coming through a line to then a digital, it transfers it to a digital gauge. It's not an old style gauge.
Mm.
But there's just a lot less with Xfinity cars. You don't have a ECU. You don't have it's just the carburetor, and you know it's all feel and looking at it and reading. They put temperature strips on things, and they still do that in Cup, but it's the computer can tell you a lot,
Mm-hmm.
um, and so it's fine. Like practice, when there was practice, they could plug in after practice or during practice between a run, and could see what they need to see. But now with no practice, like we have to
Yeah.
tell them what we see. So
So, like, one of my questions for you, I guess, just get right into it, is like, how different is this build up to the start of a season compared to everything you've been experiencing the last 5 years?
um well, it's just it's just more everything,
Yeah.
trying to this is the top level. So at the end of the day, it's still a race car. We just walked out of the meeting, and me and one of the guys I worked with him last year a little bit when I drove the 77 um, car in Cup, and he's like, look, like we use a lot of big words, but it's just still a race car. And so that's the best part. And if I get overwhelmed, or at the end of the day, if I feel overwhelmed by what all I've done in a day to in preparing, it's like it's just a race car. Once I get in it, just knowing, trying to have it, because it's not, somebody like Kurt Busch has been here at this high level for so long,
Yeah.
been in the heart of it, and in the center of it, when as this stuff has evolved, and I have it. So coming in and just when something goes wrong, knowing, do I flip a page on the dash to read out a code, or do I shut the motor off, or what do I do? It's just not, I've watched these guys do it, but I've never really paid attention to their procedures. Um, so knowing it as truly knowing it versus trying to remember it when something goes wrong is the biggest thing. And then just all the procedures of a Cup team, right? That's talk about the build up. That's what's helped me get through it. Is there's always another procedure to try to learn. There's always another meeting to learn about these procedures. So I just focus on the next thing, and that's what's helped me get through this off season, is just truly just looking one day or one meeting, or one procedure at a time, of what's the best way to do something the most efficient way. Um,
Okay.
Now I think when I get a little closer to Daytona, or I'm traveling down there, I'm gonna worry that I didn't prepare enough, or I'm gonna worry that, like, holy cow, we're getting ready to do this.
So
That'll only be a short time.
pre-test jitters, like, oh no, I didn't study enough for the final. I'm screwed.
That's right. When you should really just, what you know, and you need to take a break and then walk in and take the test.
Okay, so you brought up Kurt, and like you and Kurt are, I think, are similar, and like you guys are just like pure racers. Like, you guys can get a lot out of equipment, but it's pretty established that he's like very technical when it comes to cars. Like he knows what's going on with it. Like how would you compare yourself to him in that aspect?
I'm a lot simpler. Uh, he is very high level. I mean, he's been in these cars so long. He's been through so many progressions, and he knows how to articulate things. That was one of the biggest things. Once we knew at the end of 2020 that I was gonna be in this car, was actually just sitting in on the meetings and the post race meetings, and listening to him describe his race car, is at a level that I'm not at.
Okay.
And so that's learning from him has been, and just being around him and picking up on his some of his vocabulary, and then looking up the words he uses to say, so I can say to myself, okay, I know what that word means, and how to use it, and not just use it as kind of a buzzword. You'll hear drivers, I feel like, talk about lateral grip. It's just across the board. If you hear a driver describing their car, they'll talk about lateral grip. Well, I have a I understand what they're saying, and to me it makes sense, but I don't think a lot of times it's actually the proper use of that word. So um, now it doesn't matter the proper use or not, as long as your crew chief or your engineer or your team, as long as they understand it, that's all that matters. So we can all adapt to how each other talk, and um, I'm going to use the word y'all a lot more than Kurt is, and he's going to use other words than I'm going to use.
Okay, man. So like, how does you're 28 years old, and you're now you've hit the big time. You've finally your shot is here. How weird is this, given you've been racing in Cup for like 2-3 years now? Does this feel like your real rookie season, even though you're not going to have those stripes on the back of your car?
Man, we were that close to getting the stripes. Like,
Really?
I think it. Well, there's a committee at NASCAR that meets on it. There is a rule. There's a rule. 7 races. The rule is 7, but there's still a committee that meets on it, and apparently, 70 something races is a far cry from 7. So we made a good push. We all made our case why we should be a rookie, but they said no. So yeah, no, definitely. I've got 5 races in this caliber of equipment, right? I mean,
Yeah.
2 in the 77, in partnership with Spire and CGR, and then the 3 filling in for Ryan Newman in the 6. Um, but this is a full season. This is hopefully a long, partnership. I've been walking in and out of the shop since 2018, and I don't plan on 2021 being my final season walking in and out of this race shop. So um, it's different than anything. Even the 2 races last year, the focus was Xfinity. That was where the
Yeah.
points are. This sport, these race teams, they live off the points. That's the goal. Um, so yeah, it's definitely different. I feel like I have rookie stripes on, and it might sound saying it out loud, but I do. There's a lot of things that I still don't understand about the Cup Series, even though I've got 70 something races. There's a lot of things about the political side of how you interact with other drivers, and COVID puts a damper on it, but how guys race in the Cup Series and, fitting in and finding my, a little better cohesiveness with my fellow competitors is priority, almost priority number 1, to make, those good days that we're going to have that much better, where, I catch somebody and they don't race me like I've raced people in the past. It's, I'm not going to roll over for anybody, but blend in a little better, I guess, is my mentality.
That's weird hearing that coming from you. Just gonna blend in.
Well, these are the big boys here. I I wouldn't trade how I have raced anybody in the past. I wouldn't change it. Um, I think I would change a few things because it would have gave me a better finish. So I would do whatever I have to do to get a better finish.
Yeah.
But that got me here. But now I'm here, and
Mm-hmm.
Doug Ducart has been somebody that I've leaned on a lot here, and that's I just ask him, what next, what else, and that's it. One of our biggest things we talk about is like, yeah, it's what got you here. It's what got the attention of an organization like this back in 2018, standing out,
Mm-hmm.
being that aggressive. But now we're here, and now we need to make this the best we can make it. And I don't believe that all of those qualities will best suit me going forward to be here a long time. So um,
Okay.
I'm not just gonna fall in line and sit in 15th place, but also I don't want a line of drivers waiting on me when I get out of the car every week either, coming to tell me how mad they are. And I've had that.
Yeah.
And again, I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't trade it. I truly believe it is what got me here, but um, blend
So
in just a little bit better.
I mean, no one's gonna argue the fact that your driving style is basically I'm racing as if this is my last race. That was typically it. So that's not going to be entirely the case.
But I know this isn't my last race.
Yeah.
I know I have all year. I know I have hopefully the start of a very
Mm-hmm.
long partnership here and a lot of races in this 42 car. Um, yeah, it's not my last race, and I'm not any less hungry. I don't want anybody to think that oh, he made it to Cup, he's just gonna put it on cruise control and enjoy life. It's not, because I want to push this organization in my own way, to where they have the potential and where we have the potential to get to.
So does it feel like your final arrival at Ganassi? Does it feel like it's flying under the radar? Like
Yeah,
more people are more concerned about, oh, Briscoe's finally in Cup, oh, Bell's finally at Joe Gibbs Racing, and all these other things. You feel like you're like just kind of like sneaking in a little bit.
that's right. And I love it. I absolutely love it. Let everybody else have all the attention. Um, yeah, and we'll just go race and beat them. Yeah, I couldn't be happier for all those guys and all the other new guys in different spots, and all the guys that you know are continuing on with great Cup careers. It's great. Everybody talk about them, and when we drive by them, that's when we'll get the attention that this team and this car deserves. Um, so yeah, I love it. It's just more motivation.
Okay, I got one question. This isn't meant to be a got you question or anything, But you got to Ganassi because a sponsor took a flyer on you, gave you those few rides in DC Solar, the DC Solar car, and that because of that you've been with Ganassi. And I'm wondering, how do you compartmentalize your story to include the fact that the people who took a flyer on you were later indicted on like Ponzi scheme charges and stuff like that? Like, how do you view that when you think about your journey?
Yeah, I mean, it is a good question. And I honestly don't know if it's one that's ready to be answered.
Okay.
If I'm being completely honest, I don't know the whole story of what all has happened. I don't understand what I read online. But like you said, I do know that I would not be sitting here today if it wasn't for everything that happened. And that goes back to getting into the Xfinity series, getting some starts in the Cup series, and then getting the starts with CGR in 18.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no doubt about it. And that group taking that chance on me was what forever has changed the trajectory of my professional career in NASCAR, definitely, but my personal life as well. Is sitting in a race shop like this, I just wouldn't be here. So, I let everybody form their own opinions. We all read the same stuff online. I know as much as everybody else about what has happened. I know, yeah, it stinks. Like there's no way around it. Personally,
I mean, what happens? No reflection on you or at all. So I mean, but
right.
and you came out on the right end eventually.
Yeah. There was still though, the fallout for me was, I could make the case it was big that we missed out on the Xfinity season, but the number of people and the fallout for the ripple effects and the tsunami that hit so many people with what all happened
I get that.
was monumental and way bigger in the grand scheme of life. So many jobs lost, people genuinely just that were doing their jobs and doing doing their position the best they could do. Yeah, it's something that just it's so far over my head. I don't even know how to really put into words. I don't even know how to just when people ask me what happened, I don't even know. I don't even grasp that high level. It's almost like my crew chief. I don't grasp that high level of what's going on with the race car on that high of a level. I don't grasp what happened with that situation either. So,
okay.
I people know the story. It's a quick Google search away for everybody else. I just let them do that, and they form their own opinion because I don't even know what mine is yet.
One to go. Jimmy Spencer bears down. Bill Elliott comes after him. Here comes Schrader looking high. I don't think he has time enough now. It's between the Junior Johnson cars, Ned.
Yeah, Ernie Irvin went a little high there, lost some distance between the two front runners. Now he's going to have to fend off Ken Schrader. Here comes Elliott, trying to move down on the inside. Now he goes to the outside as Spencer blocks him off there, goes high and blocks him off up there.
What they need is a third dancing partner.
Elliott needs a little help to be able to get by, but he doesn't have any help.
Elliott, everybody's pretty much on their own. We'll take one more shot for sure in this tri-oval. Here he comes, up to the outside, guns it for the inside. Here we come for the finish. Coming to the stripe, it's Spencer. Jimmy Spencer has just won his second restrictor plate super speedway race, defeating his teammate Bill Elliott at the line. Oh, he wasn't going to let him through.
I know you just want to win a Cup race, but how much would it mean for you to break the McDonald's curse?
Man, it's crazy. It is absolutely incredible, the number of chances and the opportunities that were so close for that car to drive into victory lane. And yeah, definitely.
Like how old were you in 1994?
I was born in December of '92, so I was just over a year old.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Like the McDonald's has been sponsoring cars for as long as they have. They haven't won a points race since '94.
Yeah. Yeah, we want to change that, and we want to be the ones to change it, right? I mean, there's no secret they're going to be on another car, and that'll be some competition between us.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, so
Think about that.
Definitely, I want to be the best running McDonald's car for sure. But just thinking about you don't even have to put McDonald's on the car. You put the right arches, right? The McDonald's arches, the gold standard logo, like that look. Anybody, I don't know anybody personally that wouldn't know what car that was.
Yeah.
Without any wording on it, and I think that's what's so cool about it is that they continue to push their brand and they want to do it with our group. And that means a lot.
So is that McDonald's thing? Is that a thing people like talk about within the walls of Ganassi?
Yeah, it's a big deal, man. I mean, you have an iconic brand like that, want to put their entire business, behind a company and a driver like me. Like, who's Ross Chastain? They want to be on this 42 car. That means the world. And, I mean, I grew up a Happy Kids meal, man. A Happy Meal kid.
Yeah.
I mean, I was a 4-piece chicken nugget kid. I mean, from as soon as I can remember. And yeah, I was sweet and sour sauce. What were you?
I no sauce. Just give me the chicken nuggets. I don't need sauce.
That explains a lot. It just explains a lot. Okay.
I resent that. No, if you I think if you have to add sauce to any meal, you're insulting the people who made the meal. You're saying this isn't good enough.
Only if it's a reaction to the meal. If you pour A1 sauce on a steak before you ever taste it, you're not insulting the guy or the woman that cooked it. You like A1 sauce. I mean, no different with sweet and sour. Before you ever I don't try a chicken nugget and then dip. I dip and then eat it. So
the season's starting with basically 3 Florida races. So which of those 3 races, 500, the road course, and then Homestead, which one are you eyeing as your best opportunity to make some noise as a Florida boy?
Yeah. Well, I mean, Daytona's Daytona, right? I that one you want that Daytona 500 as in my career, right? I wanted to just race in it, but now that I'm here, you want to win it.
Yeah.
But Homestead is a race where I want to go perform and run good, right? If a win's in the cards, great, but just go compete and go, genuinely make good lap time over an entire run and race, have my racecraft be at a high level. That's probably the biggest thing. They're both about equal distance from the farm. It's plus or minus 30 minutes.
Okay.
Difference in each one. So, yeah, I can, I just, as a racer though, I want to go, somewhere you're truly, as a short track, circle track racer, asphalt, I want to go and lift for the corner, get the car set, apply throttle, stop the best, turn the best, and accelerate the best, and be the best race car driver and race car that day at Homestead. So that's the one.
Okay. So Chip Ganassi posted a picture on Twitter a while back of you, him, and Jimmy Johnson, Scott Dixon, Kurt Busch, other famous successful drivers, and he uses hashtag I like winners and all that. So, like, given everything you have been through up until this point, what did it mean for you to be in that picture?
Everything. It was the best snapshot, literally, of all the work, from starting out in the fast kid division at my local track to running my first truck race, Xfinity Cup, doing whatever I had to do, starting parking. That was the goal, was to drive, I didn't know for who, but for somebody. And now, to get the opportunity with Chip, have it go away, have him keep me behind the scenes. I mean, we didn't hide it very well. We didn't need to. We didn't want, it was just, we're here. We're going to do it one day. But to have that come together, and then obviously him, invite us all down to, in these hard times, get together, sit up on a big open pit cabana at Sebring and eat dinner. But to get together and have that snapshot of most of the guys, the faces of all his different race cars, have them there. I mean, yeah, it's guys I grew up watching and idolizing, and now I can walk up and together with another rookie like Alex Blow, that's whose hat I have on, the 10. I can go talk to him, but I can ask a guy like Dario Franchitti questions, and it's mostly about, when I was there, about Indy cars, but he's been here and done this, so I had some questions for him on that, and his thoughts and his approach and his mentality. It's just the culmination of all the work into one picture, and a guy like Chip, he just does racing. That's his entire life, is all these different race vehicles and race cars and off-road trucks now, and everything, from an Indy car that looks like a spaceship to our race cars that don't exactly look like spaceships, although internally they are.
That's my interview with Chip Ganassi Racing's Ross Chastain. I hope you enjoyed it. Like I said earlier, you can read my column on Ross at frontstretch.com, which I have linked below. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, share with all your friends, family, and, even strangers. Again, you can follow me on Twitter at Daniel McFadden, on Patreon at patreon.com/DanielMcFadden. Contribute $3. So, again, to make this endeavor more possible, more fun, more possibilities. I have one so far, Sarah Cohn. Thank you. Next week on Dropping the Hammer, I have an exclusive interview with Jeff Lowell, the creator, showrunner, and writer of Netflix's new NASCAR-themed sitcom, The Crew, starring Kevin James. I'm actually talking to him later this evening. So I look forward to being able to bring that to you next week. I've also seen the first 3 episodes of The Crew, so also look forward to sharing my thoughts on the first major NASCAR Hollywood project in a few years. So anyway, I'm Dan McFadden. This has been Dropping the Hammer. Thank you, and talk to you soon.